today?
I'm good, Jane. How are you?
I'm good. So you're thinking about buying a house?
Yes, I am. I
Okay.
thought about it long and hard, and yeah, I think it's about that time. I'm tired of renting.
Well, good. Well, that's awesome. Buying a home is a great thing. You know, when you own your own home, you have an asset that's working for you. If you're renting, then you're just paying for a property for somebody else. So I'm excited for you. That's going to be a really good thing. So
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
Well, I've got some information that I want to go over with you today, and first things first, I want to get some contact information from you, because I always forget to do that. So, if you don't mind, I'm just going to ask you a couple quick questions,
Okay.
and then I'll go through the package that we have here, and then we'll get to the fun stuff. We'll talk about what you're looking for in a home. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, great. So I know your name is Regina Carter Pride, and do you use a middle initial when you're signing legal documents?
No, I do not.
Okay. And what's the best address for you, Regina?
My best address is 5901 Sargent Parkway. It's at Lothian, Virginia, 23112.
Okay. And a good phone number for you?
My home or my cell? Which one?
How about cell?
Okay, that's 804-239-0001.
Okay. And what's the best email for you?
Well, I don't check my emails very often, so.
Okay.
Do
Well,
you
that's
need it?
good to know.
Okay, so is there any reason why you need my email?
Sure. You do have a computer at home?
Yes.
Okay. And you do check your emails periodically?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things that I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to set up some searches for you for homes that meet the criteria that you give me. And you'll get an email every time a new home comes on that meets your criteria. So that's the reason why I'm asking for your email. I promise I'm not going to spam you to death or
Okay.
sell your email address or any of that stuff. So.
Okay, that'll be good.
Okay.
It's Regina.Carter@Verizon.net.
Okay. And what's your month and day, your birthday, month and day?
6/25.
Oh, June 25th. Awesome. Very cool.
Is that your birthday too?
No, but I'm a summer baby. Mine's August 23rd.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Close by.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to get to the fun stuff in a little bit, but I want to go over this package of information for you so you have a good idea of what's going to be going on, okay? All right, so I'm going to turn this around and do my best to kind of read upside down to you.
Okay.
But on this side of the package, the first thing that I have for you is just a little bit of information on why I work by referral. So most of my business comes from people I know or referrals from people I know. And when I work by referral, it helps me to provide my best attention and best service to the folks that I'm working with. So there are other agents that do a lot of other activities to find business. I like to work with people I know or their friends and family members because I know you're a great person, and I know that if you refer somebody to me that they're going to be a great person too. And I don't want to work with jerks. So.
Oh, wow. Okay, that sounds like me. I'm the same way.
Okay, good. So this is just a little bit of information about why I work by referral and what that means.
Okay.
This is a little bit of information on your realtor's role. Okay, so this talks about realtors and real estate agents and what I'm gonna do for you, and just gives you a little bit of basic information. Okay. This piece is called the value of your realtor. So a realtor can really help you by saving time. We can help you negotiate good deals. So again, this just gives you a little bit more information about how I can help you through this process.
Oh, okay.
Okay? This is just an outline on the steps to buying a home. So we are on step 1 today, which is your buyer consultation with Jane. okay? So we are right at the very beginning.
Oh boy, I am so glad that you are giving me this, and I won't have to guess at what I'm doing.
That's right, that's right. And you know, I'd love for you to read over all the information in here, but I'm gonna be guiding you step by step through the process. So
Wow.
don't feel like you have to commit this document to memory, okay?
Oh, okay, great. That's good. My memory is not that good. So I'm glad it's in writing.
And there are a couple of times, there are a couple of places in here that I really want to make you familiar with. So your next step is going to be to get pre-approved, and I've already given you Allison's contact information, and I'm going to make sure that she gives you a call and helps you get pre-approved, so that when we go out looking for homes, when you find the one that you love, you're going to be ready to make an offer, and we're going to have everything that we need. Allison's going to give me the information that I need so I can structure the best deal for you. So step 2 is to get with Allison, and I'm going to make sure that happens next. What I want you to be aware of is there are 2 times in this process when I'm going to ask you to write a check, okay? And the first one is when you find the home that you like, and we make an offer, I'm going to ask you to write what's called an earnest money deposit check, okay? And that just lets the seller of the property know that you're serious, that you've got some skin in the game. And usually an earnest money deposit check is going to be around $1,000 or 1% of the purchase price, okay? And what happens is you'll write that check, I'll submit your offer, and if your offer is accepted, then we'll deposit that check into the company escrow account, which is just a bank account, and that money gets held there until your closing, and it's applied to your closing costs, okay? So that money it's always yours, and it's not going anywhere. It's going to be applied towards your closing costs at the end.
Oh, okay. So wait a minute. Is it every time that I find a house, even if it's not accepted? What happens to that?
No. So let's say you find 123 Main Street and you love it, and we sit down and we write the offer, and you write an earnest money deposit check made out to Exit Realty Success for $1,000. I'm going to hold that. I'm going to keep it locked up in my filing cabinet, basically, until that offer is accepted. Okay. If the offer is not accepted, then I can give you your check back, or if you want me to hang on to it while we look for more properties, the next property that we make an offer on, I can still hold that check, and if that offer is accepted, then it will be deposited.
Oh, okay.
Does that sound okay?
It does.
Okay. And you know, it's completely up to you. If you'd feel more comfortable having that check and holding on to it while we're in between deals or in between houses, then that's fine with me. I'll give it back to you, and then when we make the next offer, you just give it back to me.
Okay. So I'm making the check out to
Exit
your company?
Realty Success.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
it's held in the company's escrow account.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. And then the other thing is I recommend that you get a home inspection, okay? Especially if the home has been lived in before. The seller isn't required to give us a rundown of everything that's going on with the house. They're not making any representations or warranties as to the condition of it. So I like to have a home inspector work with you to come in and inspect the house from top to bottom and let you know of any material defects that are in the house, okay? And then once he gives us a report, then we have an opportunity to ask the seller to make the repairs that are really important to you, okay? And that's the second time when you'll write a check, and ahead of time I'll call the home inspector and give him some information on the house, when it was built, where it's located, and how big it is. And then he'll tell me how much your home inspection will be. And then you just write a check to him that day for that amount.
Okay. Well, if the seller decides they don't want to make the repairs that I need, will I get that money back?
So we have the right to request repairs unless they are specifically selling the home as is, okay? If they're selling the home as is, then your inspection is for informational purposes. And so if we get a report back and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't want to buy this house, there's too much bad stuff going on, then I'll write our contract so that you have the right to terminate the contract at that time. Okay? But in most cases, it's not going to be as is. So if we ask for repairs and the seller refuses to make the repairs that you want, then after a period of time, it's called a negotiation period, you can terminate the contract and you will get your deposit back.
Well, what about the money that I'm going to pay for the inspection? Will I get that back?
No, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, when the home inspector does an inspection, he's done the work, and so he does get paid for that. So, you know, we try to do our best up front to make sure that when you go under contract that it's going to be a good home. You know, obviously there could be some hidden things that we don't know about until the home inspector comes in. But my goal is to find you one house that you are under contract with and close on, so that money is not wasted.
Okay.
Okay? All right. And then this tells you the rest of the steps that are involved with buying a home. So when you get a chance, just look that over. And again, I've marked the 2 times that I'm going to ask you to write a check during this process.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So this is some information from Allison. This is the documents that she needs to get your loan processed. Okay. So all borrowers are on this side. She's going to need all of these documents from you. And this is for self-employed folks. So are you W-2?
I am.
Okay.
I get a W-2.
Okay, all right, perfect. So you'll probably be just in this column here. And then once they submit your loan package to underwriting, the underwriter may require some additional documents. And the key is just to get them back to them as quickly as possible so that your loan can move on as planned.
Okay, wow, that looks like a lot of items that I have to bring. And you also said that they may ask for more?
They might ask for more. Now, it depends. They may not. This list might be perfect and all they need. Sometimes if, for instance, if it's a situation where the party buying a home is paying child support, they may need some additional information regarding the child support payments. Especially if you are self-employed, they may ask for additional information, or if there's income that they want additional verification on, they may ask for that. But most folks are pretty straightforward, and these are the documents that they need. But I want to prepare you that if they ask for something additional, you know, it's not unusual.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Sure. So this is an area map. This is Central Virginia kind of carved up into these areas. And you've got some major geographical places here. So this is the James River, which kind of divides all the way through. And then you can see I-64 runs through here, and then I-95 runs through here. So most of these zones are divided by either county lines or major highways or like the James River, things like that. So when we start talking about where you want to live, we can look at our area map, or we can search by zip code if there's a particular zip code that you want to be in. We can also go by school district, you know, if there's a particular school district you want to be in. And I can also search by subdivisions, and I can get really specific. But this is kind of a broad look at locations and how we can search for you.
Okay, well that sounds good. I don't have kids, but I am particular about the area where I want to live.
Absolutely, and I give everyone, whether they have kids or not, the Central Virginia School website list.
Okay.
Because even if you don't have kids, schools are important in terms of resale for properties. So, you know, down the road, if you want to sell your property, the school district that you're in could be important. You know, perhaps the folks that want to buy your home have children in school. So you may want to investigate the schools where you're thinking about living and just make sure that they're good quality schools so that you'll have good options for resale.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
That's good to know.
great. This is a property feedback form, so when we are out and about looking at houses, or if you're driving around prior to us going inside of houses, you can make copies of this form and then put your addresses in, what you liked and what you didn't like. So that might help you narrow things down as we're going through the process. And I'll also be asking you questions as we're looking at homes to try and determine if you like it, if there are different needs that you have, and making sure that my searches are meeting your needs, and trying to narrow down this pool of houses to the one that you want to make an offer on. The home buying process is not a process of selection, it's actually a process of elimination. So we're going to eliminate a lot of houses and then get down to the one that will work for you.
Oh, okay. My friend told me that you would do that, so I'm happy.
Oh, good. This is a moving checklist. So it just tells you everything you need to do to have a successful move, and it starts 2 months out, okay? So just keep this in mind and read it over, and when we get under contract, then you're gonna wanna start paying close attention to this. And this is a little bit of information on Heroes Moving and Storage. Corey Clemens owns this company, and he's helped me with different moves, you know, when we moved our office. He helped my husband and I when we had a piano to move, and I've referred him to a lot of people, and everybody loves him. He does a really good job, and he's very reasonable. So if you need help moving, I recommend that you give Corey a call and let him give you a quote.
All right. Thank you.
And then this is just some basic utility information. So once we're under contract, you're going to want to have the utilities turned on in your name as of the closing date. So this is just a list of different utility companies in our area, so that you'll have it for a quick reference. Okay.
That's good.
And finally on this side is my bio, Jane Ringer's bio. So if you have any trouble sleeping at night, sometimes the home buying process can be a little stressful. So if you're having trouble sleeping, just pull out my bio.
Okay.
Guaranteed to put you to sleep in 5 minutes or less, okay?
I may need that, so I'll make sure I read it. Just in case.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do have a hard time sleeping, so, but I won't use that for that.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
Well, good. Any questions about anything I've gone over here, or any concerns?
No, not at this time.
Okay, great. So I want to show you some of the forms that we use. This is the Central Virginia Regional MLS Purchase Agreement, and this is the document that we'll use when you find the home that you like. We'll use this document to make an offer, okay? So I give you a blank copy of it so you can kind of look it over at your leisure, and I'll go through it paragraph by paragraph with you when we make the actual offer and tell you what you're committing to. Okay?
Sounds good.
Good. And then this is the residential property disclosure statement. So if we're looking at homes that people have lived in before, you will sign this document. The owner will sign it and you will sign it. And basically what this document says is there are no pending county enforcements that the seller is aware of, and they're not making any representations or warranties as to the condition of the property. Okay, so again, I give you a blank copy so you can look it over before you have to sign it. Okay. This document is called the Summary of Rights and Obligations of Sellers and Purchasers under the Virginia Residential Property Disclosure Act. It has a great big long title. And what this document does, it actually, the one that I just showed you, the disclosure statement, actually refers to this document. So it tells you specifically what a seller should disclose to you and what is your responsibility to find out on your own, or our responsibility to find out for you. And with this document, the thing that I always like to make folks aware of, and let me see if I can find it upside down. It's on page 2, and it's the paragraph that gives you the phone number and the website where you can go to see if there are any registered sex offenders living in the area. So I know you're a single lady, and so you may want to check that out if you have any concerns when we're out and about and looking for homes.
Okay, I'm glad you put a star about it, because, you know, I really want to know where those sex offenders are. It will make me more comfortable where I'm living.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with this document, I'm required to give you a copy of it. So I'm just going to get you to sign and date here, and it just is for you to acknowledge that you've received a copy.
Okay. Oh, I have to do that now when I found the property?
I would like to go ahead and get you to do it now so that I can turn it into my office and they can keep it on file. And then that way I won't forget to do it later on.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure. Oh, yeah. And I guess this is some other meeting I'll do it when I'm sleeping or getting
Definitely.
It's a lot of it.
Yeah, definitely read through this document. Again, the residential property disclosure statement refers to it, so it'll help you have a good understanding of the things that you're required to find out on your own. For instance, you know, the seller isn't required to disclose if there's a landfill going in down the street from your property. So that's one of the things, and there are other things that you'll want to read about in here. Okay?
I've heard some horror stories about, you know, what a seller can tell you, so that's why, you know, that's important to me to know.
Absolutely.
It's another resource where I can find out information.
Absolutely. Definitely read through this, and if there are things that you are specifically concerned about for any property that you're looking at, just let me know, and I'll make sure that we ask those questions up front.
Okay. Thank you.
So the state of Virginia says that if I'm going to work with you as my buyer client, that we should put the terms of our relationship in writing, okay? Because they don't want you to be, they don't want you to have any surprises. They want you to know exactly what you're getting when you hire Jane Ringer. So this is an exclusive right to represent a buyer agreement, and it means that I'm going to be working exclusively for you. And I'm going to go through this, hit the highlights. If you have any questions, I'll answer them. If you want to read it word for word, you're more than welcome to. I'll certainly give you all the time you need to look it over and make sure you're comfortable with it. Okay? So the top part of this form just has the firm name and our address. I am the firm's broker, so you've got my name there and you've got my phone number. And the agreement begins today, February 15th, and it is valid through August 2019. So we should be able to find you a great house. I think you told me on the phone that you're pretty much ready to go, ready to find your new house. Is that right?
Yes, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
I am. So, you know, it's been a while, so I've had a lot of opportunity to kind of look around, but my friend told me that you were the best, and to get with you and you can find, you know, what I really want, so I'm good with that.
Well, good. And we're going to be looking for residential property, so we're going to be looking at houses or townhouses, condos, that sort of property. This paragraph talks about, talks about my duties to you. So I'm going to be working exclusively for you, looking for houses or townhouses or condos that meet your needs and are available for sale, okay? I'm going to keep your information confidential. I'm not going to share it with the agent on the other side. They're not going to be able to share it with their client. So I'm going to make sure that I represent you and your best interests. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And then your duties are to work exclusively with me. So if there's a house that you want to see, you just give me a call and I'll show it to you. If you're riding around and you see a home that's for sale by owner, have you seen any of those signs? Yeah.
I called a few too.
Oh, Regina, don't call those for sale by owners.
Now that I know, I won't.
Okay. Yeah, just get the phone number off the sign and the property address and let me call them, and I'll make sure that they're willing to pay my fee, so that you don't have to pay my commission, okay? As long as you call me first, I'll take care of it, okay? And then you might also see some new home subdivisions or new homes that are for sale. And those neighborhoods typically have a site agent, someone who sits in that neighborhood all the time. And I need to introduce you to that neighborhood first. So if you're out and about and you see a new homes neighborhood, before you veer into it, just give me a quick call and I'll call the site agent and either meet you there or let them know that you're coming and that we're working together. And that way I can make sure that that builder is going to pay my commission. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So as long as you do those things, then you'll be adhering to this agreement.
Okay.
Okay. So my compensation, I get paid based on what's in the MLS. Okay. So my compensation is already determined when a listing agent puts a property on the market. Okay. And I'm actually, the seller is actually paying me to represent you.
Okay.
Can you believe that?
No, I don't. Who pays for that?
I know.
Yeah, that's
Well, they want to make sure that their properties are being exposed to the largest pool of buyers, and they know that the real estate agents have the buyers, so they agree to pay me so that I'll bring you to their properties. Okay? And I don't get paid until closing, okay? So you don't have to write a check to me up front or anything like that. My commission comes out of the seller's net proceeds at closing. Okay? So I want to talk to you a little bit about something called dual and designated agency. So because I'm the principal broker here in this office, it's a little bit different for me, but dual agency would occur where you and I agree to work together, you're my client, and you become interested in a property that I already have listed for sale, okay? So I already represent the seller, I already represent you, and I'm gonna let you know, hey, I already represent these guys, and I'm gonna let them know, hey, I'm bringing a buyer that I already represent. We're gonna look at the property, and if you like it, then we're gonna talk extensively about what dual agency means. It basically means that I'm gonna become a facilitator. So I can't share personal and confidential information about the seller to you, and I'm not gonna share your personal and confidential information to the seller. And I'm gonna help facilitate the deal, help get the contracts written and that sort of thing. It's probably very rare that dual agency happens, but if it does come up, we'll sit down. If you aren't 100% comfortable with it, then I will present other options to you so that you will be 100% comfortable.
Okay.
Is that fair enough?
It's fair enough.
Okay. Designated agency doesn't really apply for me since I'm the principal broker here in this office, so I'm just going to skip that for now. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. Let's see what else we got. So this talks a little bit more about dual agency. This paragraph talks about recording in a property. So have you seen like Ring doorbells with the cameras on them?
I saw one the other day. Is that what that is?
It can be. So it can be the doorbell, or sometimes folks will even have video cameras set up inside the house, and some of them can record sound as well. So when we go through houses, I think the safest bet is to assume that we could be recorded and they could record our sound. So when we go through, You know, if you have questions, ask me. Try to avoid saying things like, oh my gosh, this is the best house ever, I love it, I'd pay $1 million for it, because that might
let them think that I'm gonna pay them $1 million.
Exactly. It might hurt our negotiating position.
Okay.
So this just lets you know that recording can take place. Hopefully that would be disclosed to us ahead of time. Sometimes I've been in properties where we walked in and the big screen TV had like 6 cameras and you could see yourself walking through the house.
I don't think I would like that.
I know. I don't care for it either, but it's kind of the day and age that we live in. Okay? Miscellaneous, this just talks about if there are any changes to our agreement, they'll be in writing. Electronic signatures, sometimes we sign documents electronically, which is another reason why I asked you for your email. And it can allow us to get things done quickly. If you're not comfortable with that, then we will sign things in person. It's not a problem.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about the buyer agency agreement or anything?
Not at this time.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get you to date and sign right there for me.
Okay. I'm still writing
18.
2018.
Me
2019.
too.
Glad to know I'm not the only one.
No, I assure you, you're not.
All right, now get copies of these, you said?
Yes, I'm going to make a copy for you right now so that I can put it back in your folder.
Thank you.
Thanks.